All right. Well, everybody, we can face up front here, and we want to listen and just put up all of our stuff, all of our wonderful stuff that we may be messing with. Just put up all the stuff. We want to pay attention because we got a great class for you today. It's going to be, what is our series? Anybody know our series that we're in right now? Anybody know? Anybody know the series? Anybody know it? Does anybody know the series? It's what? God is. That's right. And what did y'all talk about last week? God is what?
Strong.
God is strong. That was one of the lessons, yes. And today we're talking about probably the most important one, and it's titled God is Love. Everybody say God is love. All right. So, God is love. We're talking about God is love. Now, let's see here. Let's see. Now, how many of y'all have ever seen, y'all have ever heard about love as like something romantic? Something romantic. Like a lot of kids, when I talk about love, kids, they go, eee, they're all like grossed out and, like God is love, like He wants to take us out on a date or something like that. But that's not, that's not exactly what the love of God is. God is not like romantic, He's going to get married to us or something. That's not the love of God. The love of God is actually just simply caring about you. How many of y'all can identify with that? Somebody that cares about you. How many of y'all can? Yeah, because y'all aren't probably dating yet or something like that. But you can identify with somebody loving and caring about you. That's what we're talking about. Is God cares about you? That's what the love of God is, caring about people. So if we have the love of God in us, then we should care about other people, just like He does, right? Okay. Now, even train conductors, we should care about them. Anyway, all right. So we have so love is not romantic. It's not like, the love of God is not romantic. It's just caring about you and doing things for you. How many of y'all ever prayed and God did something for you? Raise your hand. Anybody? God did something for you? What's something that God's done for you? He helped you learn how to swim.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. God answered your prayer. Sometimes when you're just doing something, when you're in the process of doing something in your life, you can pray, and then God can help you do that. God can help you swim. He can help you do anything. Yes.
He helped me get the bullies away from me.
That's cool. Helped you get the bullies away. That's very good. Very good.
He helped me be nice. He helped me be nice.
Helped you be nice. All right. Now, did I get your name? I don't think I got your name. Did I? I don't think I did. What's your name?
Two lessons.
All right. The two Madisons. Yes. Okay. It's the Madison row. Okay. Now, we have a verse in the Bible there's lots of verses about love in the Bible. Does God help you with something?
God helps me with school.
Helps you with school? Helps you do your work in school? That's cool. All right. Now, there's a lot of verses about love in the Bible, about God caring about us. Now, let's go over the memory verse. Let's say it with me. Let's say, but God showed His great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. Romans 5:8. Okay, now can anybody tell me what sin is? Anybody tell me what sin is? Yes. When you do something bad.
When you're not walking right with God.
When you're not walking right with God.
When you smoke.
When you smoke, yes. When you do anything wrong, anything that hurts you, anything that God doesn't want you to do, that's a sin. That's a sin. We've all sinned. All right? Now what that verse is saying is Romans 5:8. If you look at Romans 5, what that's saying is, how many of y'all have ever had somebody do something wrong? You've done something wrong? Or somebody's done something wrong to you? Now, if somebody did something wrong for you, it was really hard for you to love them. It was really hard for you to care about them. But it says, even though we were doing wrong things to God, people in the Bible, they were not worshiping God. They were disobeying God right and left. God would say, don't do this. And people would go, no, forget it. We're going to ignore you, God. But even though they were doing wrong things to God, God said, I'm still going to send my son Jesus to save you. I'm still going to send Jesus to save you, even though you've done all those wrong things. Now, that's the love of God. Now, back in the old times before Jesus came, here's what people had to do for their sin. Here's what people had to do. They had to, how many of y'all have ever been punished something you did wrong. They sent you to your room or something like that. They said, okay, you've done this, now you got to go to your room, right? Okay? Or how many of y'all, your parents, maybe they've been driving too fast, maybe 40 and 35 zone or whatever. They're driving too fast, and then what happened was a cop pulled them over, gave them a ticket. Okay, so when you do something wrong, when you do something against the rules, then you get punished for it, right? There's a lot of examples of that. Now, back then, when people did something wrong against the Word of God, back in the old days, all they had was the first 5 books of the Bible. Those were the very earliest books. And they would look at that and they would say, okay, God says to do this, all right, we're going to do this. And if they didn't do what God said in those books, in those early books, then they would have to be punished for what they did wrong. Every rule that God had, if they broke it, then God would say, okay, you got to do this, whenever. Okay, and so then what they would do was they would have to sacrifice an animal. That's what they would do. A lot of them had animals back then, and they would be farmers and raising animals and stuff. And the animal, let me get a volunteer. Let me get somebody to help me. Let's see, somebody can help me. Raise your hand if you want to help me. Let me get somebody. Okay, let me get you. Can you come up real quick? Okay. Now, God would ask, what's your name? Madison. Okay, gotta remember that. Okay, now let's pretend Madison does something wrong. Okay, Madison does something wrong, and God says, okay, this is in the old days, in the Old Testament, okay? And God says, okay, you've done this wrong, you've disobeyed the Word of God, okay? Now you gotta find an animal that you have, or if they didn't own an animal, they would actually have to go out and find an animal, okay? Most of them owned animals, but if the animal had even one, like if the animal was sick, or if the animal had like a scratch on them or something like that, then they couldn't sacrifice the animal. The animal had to be in perfect shape. Because what they were saying was, what God was saying was, when you disobey me, you gotta really, it was really exacting, the law was really exacting, you had to do things exactly a certain way, and if you didn't, then God would punish you, and it was just tough, it was just rules and rules and rules and stuff, and sometimes God will give you a break, even in the Old Testament, but it was just harder than it is now. And so every time they would disobey something that was in the Bible, they would say, okay, let's get an animal, all right, let's go. They would get the animal, okay. Now they would put the animal on like an altar, put the animal, they would kill the animal, get a knife, kill the animal, okay. And so they would make sure that there was no cuts on the animal wasn't sick, the animal was in perfect condition, Okay, they put the animal down, and then, okay, kill the animal, tie it down, okay, and then it's dead, and then they would sacrifice the animal. They would set it on fire and say, God, okay, we're sorry for what we did wrong, and we're going to give this sacrifice to you. Okay? Now, here's what happened. Here's what happened is that became so hard to do. People were sinning all the time. So they were sacrificing animals all the time. They were sacrificing animals every day. They were sinning. They were disobeying God right and left all the time and disobeying God over and over and over. And God says, okay, I'm finally going to give y'all a break because I love you. Everybody say love. He's going to give you a break. And so what he did is he said, you're not going to have to sacrifice animals anymore. Say yay. Say yay. Can you say yay? Yay. You don't have to sacrifice animals anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a sacrifice for everybody's sin that's ever committed sin, that ever will commit sin, and his name is Jesus. Have you noticed that Christians do not sacrifice animals anymore? And that's because Jesus came and he became the sacrifice. He became the punishment for our sin. And so all we have to do now, instead of sacrificing animals every time we do something wrong, what we have to do is accept Jesus. How many of y'all think that's cool? You don't have to sacrifice animals. You don't have to follow all these rigid rules and stuff because God gave us a break. God says, oh man, you're messing up and you're disobeying me, but I'm still going to send Jesus to make it easier for you to follow me. That's pretty cool. Now let's give Madison a hand clap. Let's give her a hand clap. Come on. All right, you can return to your seat. Thank you.